Tammy.
And I'm Lisi. Hi.
We're the Nutrition Twins. We're registered dietitians, personal trainers, and Q coaches for Qinetic.com.
And we're so excited because today we're feeling the spring weather. It is almost, well, it is officially spring.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about lightening up our fridges, our bodies for spring for a flatter stomach. And we cannot wait to get started. It is almost bathing suit season and we cannot wait.
We're going to start by sharing our favorite tips that just kind of make it easy to lose a little bit of fat. Some things that aren't so mindful that you don't have to pay too much attention to. What's your favorite tip?
I think my favorite tip for lightening up for spring, definitely with all the spring around, we've got tons of produce. But I'm not talking any produce, I'm talking specifically one of mine is veggies. And I don't mean just, eating more veggies. The trick is for flatter stomach is actually adding those favorite spring vegetables right into your meal. And what I want you to do is eat a third less of the heavy stuff. So a third less protein, a third less carbohydrate, and you're gonna fill your stomach with the carbohydrates. And the way it's gonna flatten the belly, not with the carbohydrates, you're gonna fill your stomach with the veggies. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. The way that you're gonna get a flatter stomach is one, because you're reducing calories, so you're gonna lose some body fat. The other reason why is because veggies are packed with fiber, and fiber helps to keep you regular. And that means a lot of times when we have a not as flat stomach as we'd like when we try so hard in the gym, we're gonna help to get rid of some of that waste. And I think if everyone were a lot less constipated, the world would be a better place. So I have no problem at helping you guys to do that. So that's my favorite tip.
I like that tip. One of my favorite tips that makes it so easy is just if you're someone who eats everything on your plate all the time, at each of your meals, just leave 4 bites behind. How easy is that? 4 bites. And what it's going to do, over the course of the day, you're going to save yourself a couple hundred calories. Over the course of the week, you might lose a pound or 2, and then over the course of a month, you'll lose several pounds. And that's kind of simple. You don't have to put too much effort into it. Just leave a couple bites behind, right?
I like that tip, but she wasn't talking about spring.
I think we need spring. It's
okay. It's a good tip. It's a good tip.
You're always going to help you to lose weight for summer.
I'm always a step behind the 8 ball. I'm dragging her like a dead cat on my leg. But anyway, that's for a whole other day. My next spring tip for you, my favorite, I have to tell you that a lot of my clients have been telling me, strangely, that they're getting a lot of sweet cravings. And when we look at their food log, what I've seen is that usually when they get sweet cravings is they haven't taken advantage of fruit. And spring is the perfect time for fruit. And really, the way you're gonna get a flatter stomach by eating more fruit is one, you're gonna stave off those sugar cravings. So you won't be eating the candy bars that really add up quickly around the waist. Plus, again, the fiber, potassium is all stuff that helps to flush some of the stuff that's still remaining in your stomach out for a flatter stomach. So take advantage of the spring produce.
Yeah, there is a lot of great spring produce. I do like that one.
Strawberry.
My next tip, okay, so maybe it's not about spring, but it's still about lightening up for summer. It's about lightening up for summer and spring. Okay, and that is to cut back on the oil. And we all know olive oil is great for us, but the problem is that most of us, we go to make an omelet, we go to cook, and we just pour that olive oil liberally into our pan.
True story.
It is a true story, and there's 120 calories per tablespoon. And if you don't count calories, that's okay, you don't have to. But the thing to realize is that for a female who's being active and trying to lose weight, they might only need somewhere between 1,300, 1,500 calories a day. Well, if you're pouring 500, 600, 700 calories in your pan, it's not good. It's going to add up quickly. So the trick is instead take oil, put it in a spray bottle and spray it, spritz it. So it's really dispersed, it's very light in your pan. You'll save hundreds of calories and the pounds will drop off.
All right, it is a good tip, but I'm gonna put my spring spin on it. So we have lime here. Instead of just using oil, spin it out with some of the spring stuff. Lime, lemon, citrusy, use some fruity vinegars to add flavor, and those are basically calorie-free.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've covered...
wait, she always likes to jump ahead. I have one more that I really like that's great for spring. And it's common sense, but no one really thinks about it. Spring comes along, and it's warmer out, and so we sweat a lot more. And we don't even realize that we're sweating sometimes, but just because it's warmer, we are, and we need more water. So one of my best spring tips ever is even if you don't feel like you need more water, you do. So drink more, and what this is gonna do for your flatter belly is, one, when you drink water, it helps to flush everything out. So you're gonna get rid of some of the salt that you hold water retention.
Sodium bloats you.
Yes, you'll get rid of that. Plus, it gets your whole system moving. The other way that it's really gonna help you is that lots of times we're gonna be slightly more dehydrated in spring if we don't drink more water, and you don't necessarily realize, but you might feel a little hungrier. And lots of times we mistake the feeling of hunger or the feeling of thirst, and we think we're hungry. So we eat extra calories that we don't really need, and it contributes to weight gain around the waist. So that's my tip. Eat plenty, drink more water.
All right, I'll give you some credit. That was good, that was good. Okay, so now that it's springtime, we always hear about lightening up. Hi. We always hear about lightening up, and everyone always asks us, what can I take to detox? Is there a pill? They spend a lot of money on fancy supplements and potions, and you know what the secret is? Your body detoxes naturally on its own. You don't need to spend lots of money on things. In fact, every part of our body does something for detox. Our skin is our largest organ, and it sweats out toxins. It also acts as a barrier, so when toxins come in, it prevents them from going into our body.
Yeah, our systems are really, it's true. Like so many people, we have so many clients that say, I want to do the colonic or that flush. We don't recommend that, and I don't want to be near any of one. If you decide to get it, keep it to yourself. I wouldn't recommend it, but our body is such a great detoxer. So what we want to do is help it along. So for instance, we have our immune system. That's a great detoxer because it comes in and gets all the foreign invaders and attacks them. We have our kidney, and when it's no surprise that when they do drug tests, they test our urine. It's because our kidneys filtering out all of these things. So that's a great detoxer. And one of the best detoxer is our liver. And that is our body's main detoxification from toxins, stress, pollution,
alcohol, going through the liver.
Yeah. So what we really want to help you do to lighten up for spring is to just go ahead and we're going to help you to take advantage of all these things that you can do to make your body as efficient as possible at all of its systems.
I also want to mention, when we breathe, we have an immediate filter right in our nose. All the toxins, all the little particles, we actually have these little hairs inside our nose that collect dirt and toxins and dust and actually protect our lungs. So this is naturally built in. And I shouldn't say all of us have little hairs. I did date a guy. The hairs in his nose were not so little, but it was one date. I'm just telling you, it was like a jungle in there, and whatever came in, his lungs were very safe, is all I have to say.
And even so, I don't think I have any big hairs, but I have to say it's allergy season, and I can tell you my nose is just full of all the allergens and pollens protecting it. So let's get to business.
Woo. Okay, so
I'm
have
so
a
glad
recipe.
you didn't sell them out. Museum.
I
Long
would not
hair
do
nose,
that.
guys. So our detox recipe, this is one of our favorites. It's the Kale Recharge Detox Smoothie. And why we love it? Well, first let me tell you that every morning since we did in college pretty much, first thing we do and we recommend everyone do, is wake up, have 16 ounces of water. 16 ounces, and what that does, it's like the natural best energy booster you can have because every single process in your body relies on water. Every chemical reaction to get energy, you need water, and when you wake up, you're already dehydrated.
You don't even realize you're losing water from your body through some sweat, through perspiration, just through breathing, the exchange with the air, you're losing water. So the first thing you can do is just replenish that water. And I can say when I wake up, I feel so much better after I have that water, but also I'm craving it.
Yeah, your body gets used to it. So if it seems like a lot, you'll get used to it. So first have your 16 ounces of water, and then on those days when you really feel like I just need, I had too much alcohol, I've been out of smoke, I ate too many overindulgences that are lingering around in my colon, they're causing these nasty side effects. This detox, this recharger is for you. And we're gonna make it right now. We actually already cheated it. We have a little bit of it ready, but we're gonna tell you exactly what we did. And this is a great smoothie for any of you that have not used green veggies in a smoothie, that have only used fruit, because it's very mild. Although it looks green, it actually tastes really good. So what we do is we have one banana, and these are less ripe than we'd like. You use one frozen banana, and you want it to be brown spots. The more ripe, the better. That's gonna give you your sweetness. And that has potassium. So potassium, when we eat, like let's say last night was the Chinese food night. All right, so we're all waking up, we've got puffy back.
Waterlogged,
Yeah.
swollen fingers, swollen everywhere.
what the banana with the potassium does is it helps to restore that normal fluid balance. So it's going to help to flush out some of that sodium. And the reason why is when we eat food that's high in sodium, our body wants to respond by diluting it so that we hold on to it, water, and we become bigger, puffier, not pretty at the bathing suit time. So that's one of the main reasons for the banana, plus fiber, plus it makes it sweet. So we have 1 frozen banana in there. Then we've also got the curly kale, 3/4 cup curly kale.
Kale is so cool because, as we were saying, toxins are detoxified in our liver. Well, kale is one of the few foods that is involved in both phases of liver detoxification, so it is a superstar. So that's why it's in this smoothie here.
3/4 cup. Then we've got 3/4 cup spinach. And spinach, and I'm telling you, you guys don't get scared. You will not taste this, we promise you. You will not taste the greens. The spinach, I have to tell you, is great, even though it doesn't work in both phases of the detoxification of the liver. It works in one phase. The other thing is there's this nutrient called glutathione in all vegetables, and it helps to drag out, it's a protein, it helps to drag out toxins and drag them out of your body. And spinach is one of the best sources. So
and that's why this is raw too, because unfortunately when you cook the vegetables, it does denature or breaks down some of the glutathione, so having it raw is the way to go.
Then we've also got a 1/2 cup of chopped carrots. And carrots are amazing this time of year because, one, they're packed with beta carotene, and a lot of that skin, the damage that we get, that aging that we get in our skin is due to sun damage, and beta carotene acts like a natural
sunblock. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So if you're heading out into the sun, carrots are good, tomatoes, but this recipe has the carrots.
Yes.
Okay, then a teaspoon of ginger, and you grind up the ginger, or you buy
I'm ginger obsessed. I love it.
She's out of
I
hand.
put it in everything. I can eat it
Everything.
raw. Although I don't advise you to do that yet because sometimes it gets a little bit much. Even for me.
most people. For most people. So the ginger actually soothes the stomach. It contains powerful anti-inflammatories. And so when damage is done to our body, inflammation is created. And so anything that's going to soothe that inflammation is going to help to heal our bodies.
Right, it's gonna help to recharge you. And we always think whenever you can keep everything calm on the inside, soothe everything, make your body work less on the inside, you're saving that energy for everything else that you wanna do. So it's a recharge smoothie. And that's one of the reasons the ginger is in there. And plus it gives it a nice little kick there. And if you're like me, you don't have to stick to a 1/2 teaspoon. I mean, go for a tablespoon, go for a whole thumb.
Go for the whole thing, like
Yeah.
should eat all of that.
Well, not raw, but I put it in there. And believe me, you'll feel so good if you end up doing that. But don't do it yet, because I want you to ease into it.
Enjoy it. 1 teaspoon of lime juice, and that has the vitamin C, which is of course going to boost your immune system. But vitamin C is also important in collagen formation, so it helps to keep your skin nice. Then we add a cup of water, 4 ice cubes, and blend away. Woo! And that is the kale.
Oh, and we also have, she left me out. We also
Sorry.
have a tablespoon of parsley, which is just,
Optional.
it is
Optional.
optional. Okay, it's optional. But if you are willing to get a few more extra nutrients, then do it. And just for effect, because it's so, the splendor is amazing. Woo! See how pretty that is? And just when you know it looks like this, don't get turned off if you're scared of the greens. It tastes so good, we promise you. The carrots and the banana sweeten it up, and the ginger gives it just right kick.
And it will clean you out.
Yeah, and there's a cup of water and 4 ice cubes.
Okay, so I think we're ready for questions. Let me grab.
Thank you guys all for your questions. We love them. They are so much fun for us.
Okay, so Billy Morrow asks, what is your favorite vegetable and why?
Oh
That's
my
a loaded
gosh,
question.
Billy Morrow.
You're speaking our language.
Oh my gosh.
The problem is we've got too many favorite vegetables.
Okay, okay, you tell me.
Okay, well, I think I was about to say red cabbage, purple cabbage, but instead I'm definitely going to go with peppers because when I go to Trader Joe's,
Bell
I buy
peppers.
the bell peppers. I buy the organic red, yellow, and orange ones, and I buy them I fill my entire basket, and the people at Trader Joe's always say, what are you doing with this? And I'm eating it for snack and lunch, so I love my bell peppers.
Okay. Ooh, can I go for 3? All right, I'll narrow it down to 2. I really like the purple cabbage too, and I go in phases where that's number 1. I really love fennel. And you know how we were talking about kale being one of the few foods that detoxes both phases it works in both phases of the liver detox?
Fennel does too.
I love it. And the other one would be kale. Curly or the dinosaur kale, both I'm fine with. And third runner-up is red cabbage. Thank you so much for asking that.
That's a great question.
That was so nice of you. We could go on and on, but we won't.
Okay, at Lisa Elliott 1025 asks, how often would you recommend shakes as a meal replacement for any given week? You know what? I wouldn't recommend it so much. It depends what your shake is. For example, if you're doing a shake that is, say, blended berries and, say, a Greek yogurt that's going to give you protein, and say you put some vegetables in there too and you make it substantial enough, then that's a fine meal replacement. It isn't as satisfying as eating, but it's great on the go. When it comes to meal replacements, I'm more concerned about the ones that are processed that you're buying. I'd be curious to see what those are, because that I really wouldn't have too often. I would limit it to once a week.
And if you're talking about a shake like this shake, we didn't mention, is only 58 calories. So you could have one serving is only 58 calories and 3 grams of fiber. So if you wanted to, you could really have a lot of this, and it wouldn't be a meal replacement, but it'd be a great way to get nutrients. So it really depends about the shake that you're talking about. If there's protein, if there's fiber, if you made it yourself, or if it's one of the store-bought cans of the shake.
Okay, great question. Thanks for asking. Okay, so at Casey Brosnan asks, what's the best replacement for sugar? I find myself going after Splenda. That's a great question,
That is
too.
a great question. And again, like I told you, what I found lately with my clients, it's been really amazing. Something about spring has brought on a lot of sweet cravings for a lot of my clients. And they said, a few of them have been female, they're like, a girl can only take so much. And we always laugh, and I say, you know what I noticed? I have them record when they're getting their sweet cravings, and if they've had fruit, they don't get the sweet cravings. So definitely try fruit if you're trying to just get a sugar replacement. But if you mean a sugar alternative, that's a really good question. We're not fans of the not like the artificial sweeteners. We'd say just use a little bit of sugar, try to use less, and really fruit sugars. And there's a sugar out there called monk fruit sugar, and you find it in some really expensive organic products, and it's a fruit that comes from China originally. That's where it was grown.
Not necessarily organic products, but I'd say maybe specialty products.
Yeah, especially because and low calorie, healthier. You only need a teeny little bit, so
it's super sweet.
Super sweet. So you basically have no sugar in there. So you can sometimes find that online.
Okay. So Eric Brody asks, Eric Brody, what is the best oil to use when cooking? Great question. Well, we know olive oil is really popular and it's good for your heart. The thing is, if you're cooking at a high temperature heat, olive oil actually gets broken down, and instead of being an antioxidant, it does the reverse and turns into a pro-oxidant. So when you're using olive oil, you only kind of want to put in the last little bit, the end of cooking.
Or use it for salad dressing, or use it at the end. If you're cooking at a higher temperature, a little bit of coconut oil is safe. We always really like avocado oil because it's very healthy for the heart and it has a higher point. And also canola oil too. They're all better. But you want to go for the non-GMO organic.
Okay.
That's a great question.
Great question. At Shop by Smooth asks, why is ginger great? I get told to intake more, but I don't know why. Great question. Ginger is great because it's a powerful anti-inflammatory, and when damage is done to our body and our cells, whether we're out in pollution, whether we're stressed out, whether we've eaten something or had some alcohol that's damaging our cells, inflammation is caused. Inflammation is damage, and the ginger goes in and kind of undoes, if you can kind of think of it as undoing the damage.
And you guys want to know something really, really crazy? Cholesterol on its own is a waxy substance. When we have high cholesterol, it goes onto our arteries and it's just waxy. It's really not even so dangerous. It's soft. But as soon as inflammation comes in, then it's like a big bad sore and it attacks our vessels and our arteries and it clogs them, and that's what it causes damage. So anytime we can lessen that inflammation, like our good friend ginger does,
that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
And also ginger soothes the stomach. That's ginger ale. You always think of having ginger ale when you have a stomach upset, but ginger does the same thing.
And we're talking about flatter stomach for bikini time. If you have indigestion, ginger really helps to soothe things down, because a lot of times you don't want to go on the beach if you're feeling like your stomach's like having a little party or boxing match on the inside, then you just go for a little ginger.
Okay, and at Steffi Social asks, how do you feel about vitamins? Should the average individual take them? And if so, which ones are best for a young woman?
That's a really good question. It's actually a really loaded question, and through the years we get bombarded with a lot of scientific studies, and our opinion on vitamins has really changed. We used to take tons of vitamins, tons of vitamins and supplements, we used to think our clients should do the same, and over the years, a lot has changed. So now we don't take a multivitamin, and you might want to see a registered dietitian and just like figure out exactly what you need and what you might be lacking in your diet. You know, if you're
That's
vegan,
what the truth is. Ideally, none of us should need a vitamin supplement, because if you get all of the nutrients that you should from your food, then you're good to go on many things. But the thing is, most of us don't get all the nutrients we need, so that's why it's good to see a registered dietitian, because they can help you. And also, if you've gotten vitamin D, your vitamin D tested over the years or recently, you'll see that a lot of people are now coming up low, so sometimes that's something you have to supplement separately. Calcium as well, it's been somewhat disputable, but if you don't get any calcium in your diet and you're a young female, you definitely want to preserve your bones. So if you're not eating dairy products or much broccoli or almonds, then that's something that you really should look into.
and also for some people, if they're not getting their omega-3s, then we'd say omega-3s. But it really is individual, and I went for a while without taking anything, and then I was a little borderline vitamin D low and
Deficient.
deficient, yeah. So I started taking a little vitamin D. So it's really individual. But we used to be those gals that had
Everything.
travel with those, like our whole suitcase would be lugging behind us, and it was all supplements.
Not quite that bad, but close.
No. I'm just kidding, but it still took a long time to pack for vacations, and it was such a relief not to need that anymore.
Thank you guys so much. I'm Tammy.
I'm Lisi.
We're the Nutrition Twins, and we're registered dietitians, personal trainers, and Q coaches for Qinetic.com.
Tune in to Qinetic Live for more questions and for more information from us. And we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye.
Mwah. Bye.